welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I am here with the wonderful Nick Hunter to discuss the fantastic Claris and FileMaker platform now, I believe, is the best way to describe that. Hello. Okay, so we've got Nick here with us. Nick is a fantastic, like the best and premier UI UX designer for FileMaker. And we are very lucky to have him here today. They're going over a very long series on advanced UI UX tricks. So if you're over like, I bet my database could look better, it probably can, and Nick is here to help. Real quick, let's discuss the live training schedule. So today, Wednesday and Friday, we're going to be covering UI UX for advanced developers with Nick, and Nick is discussing complex layouts in this section. Friday and Monday are going to build both the MBS days with Christian Schmitz. One is going to be about updates for the plugin, because it's Christian and there's new stuff to go over. And Monday will be about using a JavaScript library in FileMaker via the MBS plugin, which should be really interesting. And then Tuesday, we return to our next section, which will actually be on card style windows. If you would like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We've got the FM Training annual subscription bundle. It is 100+ hours of high-energy video training with Nick, Richard, Calvin, a host of our other senior engineers who discuss a variety of topics. You can go from basically knowing nothing about FileMaker to being a competent intermediate-level developer, which is quite impressive. With that being said, if you've already bought it, thank you very much. We appreciate it. It helps keep the lights on and running. Nick, what are we doing today?
Hello, everybody. So thank you, Marge, for the marvelous introduction. And thank you, everybody, for joining today. So today, this free day is a little bit special. We're going to explore a little bit what to do, when we have complex layout, right? When we have a big layout, and we have a lot of things going on. And so what do we do? Because most of the time when we have a lot of things, lot of buttons, lot of interaction, lot of, we don't know what to do. And we put things like this, we put blocks, and we have the, like we say, the crisis of the blank page, right? We don't know how to articulate things. So that's why I wanted to do the master detail before I come to this, because the master detail will pretty much solve the problems. And I wanted to come also with the design, with columns and stuff like this. And to teach you, to show how to display things without to overwhelm the visibility and without to have very complicated, layouts and cumbersome layouts. So, I want to first share my screen real quick. So, when we say complex layout, we can say that this is a complex layout. For example, this is a complex layout. You have a lot of things, okay. But also, we have complex layouts like this, right? So this is a complex layout too, right? We have a lot of things going on here, right? We have a lot of numbers and stuff like this, right? So we have complex layout, right? So the thing we need to know about the complex layout is we need to know how to arrange things. When we have a lot of things to put there, there's one thing you need to keep in mind. You cannot display everything. It's not possible. You cannot, when you're in the kitchen, if you have everything on the counter, everything, all the pots, all the plates, all the covers, the utensils and stuff like that, you will not find anything at the end. Or you need to move things and put on the other side to take something, because you're going to pile stuff, right? So I like the kitchen analogy because sometimes, and most of the time, FileMaker layout they are a pile of things, and the worst, the worst is when we try to, to put everything because we want we want the economy of building what we need to build. That's why I'm going to show you how to use things today and the next 2 days, right? And in the future, I'm going to teach you how to how to build the objects and the thing that let you to build the object that you can use as drawers and stuff like that, right? To arrange the things. So here we have a lot of things going on. We have a lot of interaction. Okay. So let's see how it was before. Let me move this because it will bother me. So let's see how it was before. So because I have this ability here, that's why I'm using that file. So we go to invoice, the first invoice. I think it should be this one. That's the very first. So that's the first invoice stuff. Okay. So you can see it was complicated. We had a lot of things there. Believe it or not, here you have the same amount of things. The same. We have exactly the same amount of things. I didn't remove one single feature, right? I didn't remove one single feature for the layout. So why this layout looks like there's nothing, and why this layout looks like what the hell is going on there? Okay, and don't get it wrong. This was a huge enhancement of what we had before, and unfortunately, I don't have the old FileMaker, FM starting point before this. But that was a huge enhancement of what we had before, right? So why this it's not looking good? It looks complicated, and why this not? Okay. First, we got rid of what's not necessary from the vision. More you have to see, more time you need to analyze things, right? Right? So first thing we removed is the navigation bar. Navigation bar, nowadays with the advent of the cursor window, I strongly suggest you just switch to that type of navigation, okay? Because it's not only works well, it looks great, and you have much more capabilities. Like this, for example, I have much more. I am using a MacBook Pro 13-inch. Okay, 13-inch, right? So it's not the biggest one, and look, I can still display much more things here that I had here. Here I had only that, and I needed to go to the house, the home button to get all. And even though here it wasn't complete, so need to go back. So that being said, invoice. So the first thing we did, get rid of the button bar. So let's do it. Let's play a little bit with this. Okay. So the button bar, the navigation button bar. Okay. So, but here, instead, I added something to that add more clarity, right? So the way you are positioning your stuff will drive the understanding of what's going on, okay? So for example, here you navigate, and here you navigate too, right? So you have 3 directions here, right? One, it's blue because I want to focus. I want to, I want people to see that this one is different because this one is the main navigation. And those are calendar and tasks. And then here, I'm indicating that here, I am in invoices. So there's no doubts I am in invoice, right? And everything else that is on that level should be about invoice, okay? So, and it's a top level. That means when you position something, everything that is underneath, right, belongs to what is on top of it. This is the law of physics, right? That means it's the law of the human vision. Everything that is on top of something belongs, everything below belongs to that. And you can see everything there is working like this, right? So obviously here, I've put something like here you have detail, list, and charts, right? But here we have the same thing here, detail, list, and chart, right? But it wasn't that clear than we had here. Why? It's because we have a visual that says this here, by putting it just on the limits of another area here, right? Another area with a different color, and putting this blue line underneath detail. So what I said so far, I said that everything that is below something else belongs to what's on top. Detail, you know, the blue line, okay. The detail word is on top of the blue line. Ergo, the blue line belongs to details. The gray zone here, the gray area that is just below the blue line, right, belongs to that blue line that itself belongs to the detailed world. So you have what we call a visual connection. We have a visual connection. We are connected, right? We have a physical connection, so we have an understanding. Here, it wasn't that clear. Yeah, this was, but this wasn't that clear, you know? It was for some of us, but not for everybody. And believe it or not, it was a huge enhancement than what we had before. Okay, but this is 2016, it's 6 years old, right? So, and let me see if I have something here. Okay, so now we got rid of this, right? We got rid of this. So what happened if I do it, right? So let me duplicate that layer because I am destroying the file. So let's get rid of it. This, boom, I remove it, right? I pretty much put this in a better position. So a position centered always give yourself an indication, right? The position centered add to the visual, telling the user that that block belongs to the block below, right? Because it's centered. Then what did we do? Okay, what did we do? Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, there's more things on that layout than this, because on that layout, I don't have the master detail that I don't have here, I have here, right? So I have more object here that I have here, okay? So what did we do, okay? We removed everything that's not necessary, right? So pretty much what not necessary in that layout, let's delete this. What not necessary on that layout is this. Let's get rid of it. So you see, we removed a lot of things from that layout, right? The other thing we removed, right? So we remove this, we remove objects, right? And okay, something happened between the 2000 and the 2010. Okay, let's say the 90s and the 2010s. Okay, something happened. The screen size changed, right? So that means the CRT screen were squared pretty much. Now we're not squared. Okay. So we have more width than we have height. Makes sense. Look my width and look my height. Obviously, I have more width. Okay. So that being said, right, now you have to, it's very important to keep that in mind. Now you have, right, two things, many things that not going well on that layout, many things. First of all, we have too many things exposed. Too many things exposed. We don't need all of those things exposed. Or if we do need, we need to expose them in a different way. Okay. So let's think about what we need to put there. First, the first thing we have in mind here, let's move that. The first thing we have in mind, okay, right, is this info, this block here. So here, I want to show you something. Look the number of objects we have here. So is that necessary to have all this? Right? Is that necessary to have all those buttons displayed like this, right? So obviously not, right? Obviously not. And why all those, conditional formatting and stuff like that? So why we don't just make things, more simple than this, okay? Because this is a button, okay? So we have many things going on here. So I want to explain. We have many interactions. So first, let's put the interaction on the paper. First, right? We have select, pick an item. That's the number one. That's the first action we have. We pick an action. We pick an item. Two, okay, we need to see the item. Three, right, we need to go to the item. And four, we need to clear the item. So we have four interaction here. And I really encourage you to do the same technique here. I'm doing that technique. You put on the paper, you put down what we need to do. Okay? Pick an item, see the item, go to the item and clear the item. So clear the item, I understand, right? Pick the item, I understand, and go to the item, I understand. But what I don't understand is, why do I need to see all of this at the same time? Why I can delete, okay, sorry. Why I can delete an icon, why can I delete this if I have nothing here? I have one with nothing. Why can I delete this if I have nothing? Right? Why? Pick, I understand. Pick, understand. Go. So you see, why click here to go to tablets? Right. I understand that we wanted to be able to enter something manually here. I understand that. But if you want to do this, you need to do it another way, not that way. You cannot have all at once like this. You will never find anything like this in a computer industry. Or if you see something like this, it's wrong. So, and I can say it's wrong because I built it and I knew it was wrong. The problem is this piece of software we have, FMSP, is used for training purposes and stuff like that. So I understand, but I'm not teaching you FMSP, I'm teaching you the best practices. Okay. So let's see what's going on here, right? Let's see what's going on here. First, I'm sorry to announce you that this is way more understandable than this. Okay. So assign project, assign account, assign asset, assign contact, assign stuff. I understand, And if you don't understand, yeah, I have a bug here. If you don't understand, you can just click here, So here, you understand that I can click on this because you have the free, you have the kebab kind of stuff. That the kebab, horizontal is meatball. This is vertical is kebab. So I want to assign a project, let's say. I click here, and I want to select that project here. Boom. Now, I have a better understanding what's going on. We know that will clear, okay? We clear the project. Clear the project. The terminology is really, 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 really important. You not delete the project. You don't click here to delete project. No. You click here to clear project. You clear, you don't delete. You clear, you remove. But I prefer clear because it's what it's doing. It's clearing. So I click here, I clear. Boom. Now I go back to my stage. So I click here, right? I assign this, and now my icon changed on something I understand what's going on. You click here and you go to the project, right? So when I go to invoice here, so now, and the button here could say, click here to go to server hardware install. So we have a visual that is completely understandable. I mean, it's really, really, really understandable. I have things happening and appearing when I need to do. And I have icons that tells me what to do. Here, I have no idea what's going on here. You know, when I click here, okay, maybe I can understand this. But here, view project, yeah, but why not here? You understand? So I understand you cannot change the name of the project here, but it's not the point. It's not the point. You know, most of the time, and 99.99999 with 9,000 nines, okay, you don't rename something like this, and you don't want to rename something. Why you want? You select, because doing this, you are, you know, modifying a project ID, right? You have a project ID, so why you want to rename a project that points to? So you want this, and you go to project, and it's another project, right? Doesn't make any sense, right? You don't want that. I mean, if you want it, okay, let's build it, but it's not what I call best practices, right? It's not. It is not, right? So we have the same for accounts. We have the same for assets. We have the same for contact. We have the same for staff. So now we know. You go, right? So how that works, but very simple. You know, we have different blocks. We have two blocks. We have this button here. This is a button with the project name, and then I go to relate record to the projects. And I have another block here, which I have two objects. First, I have a button that says that pretty much go open a window, and you know, and here I have the button, right? That hide, you know, that clear the thing. And all of them, they hide if the ID project is empty. So if it's empty ID project, I'm hiding the go-to project, and when it's not, and when it's empty, I'm showing the selection of a project. So it's just a hide show based on the ID of the project, right? Because that's what drives the selection, okay? If I clearing this, I clear the ID, you know, and I select here, and here I just put an ID, you know. So just what I'm doing, set ID, okay? So do we have any questions so far, Marge?
Not on YouTube or Twitch. Kyle kind of has a comment. I find it always wise to avoid too many conditional format and hide calculations because they all are unstored calcs that will affect the layout's performance.
Yeah, but no. Okay, so I'll tell you, this one here is not affecting the performance at all, because is empty. Is empty a local field? No performance. Yes, I know, I understand. It can be affecting the performance. So use them. It's not because, okay, that's something I'm hearing a lot. Oh, hiding object can affect the performance. I don't use them. Okay. Yeah, you can. So, oh, I don't like the verbs in English, so I don't use them. It's the same. No, you need to learn how to use them. You know, I can destroy the performance with conditional formatting as well. So because it's the same. Actually, it's worse, the conditional formatting. If you think about it, it's even worse. So at some point, here, you know, you will never see me using crazy here. No, never. You will never. You will see. You can open everything let's try. Let's have a try. What you have is here. Like what you have here. Okay. Tell me how this can be performing a problem of performance. Like, what do we have here? We have here. I have plenty. Oh, this is equal 1. Okay. Or this different is this is different of 1 or get more. How this can be affecting the performance? I'm pointing to even pointing to a related record is equal no. So I'm putting something. So those are not affecting at all the performance. No. But the clarity is if it's empty, why I can delete it? There's no reason. So you confuse people. You confuse people here, right? This is not confusing. Delete, assign, and I put a button where I say what it's doing. Assign, and click here to search for a project. So you cannot be more, So I don't want to spend all my weekend here. So what did we do? So we arranged those problems here, with this, right? With this. And you see that now I have much more space than I had before, right? Because I'm using a column with all the verticality. So this here, we were using the horizontality, which doesn't make any sense. Okay? So we put that here, and we remove this. Okay. And we remove all the thing we don't need. Something else that, so we remove pretty much many of the objects here, right? We remove from the prominency the labels. There's no way, no reason to have labels that prominent, And here, look what we have to take care of. Here we have an object. Here we have an object. Okay, with another object. Okay, never mind. We can delete that. We have an object. We have an object. All those objects, they have, look this. They have a border. So this object has a border, a background. Here you have a border, a background. Here you have a border, a background. Here you have a border, a background. So you have a different border. So you need to, and this one, and this border here, the border is different than this one, right? So you have a lot of thinking. You have a So the best way is to do this, to remove the background, to remove the border, and that's it. And that's it, yes. So that's another problem when you have a text as a button. It's a group. So that's something I will explain one day. It's complicated. It makes that a group, and it's cumbersome. So we remove this and remove this. So it's much better to manage an object where you don't have anything to do. You duplicate it, it's ready. You know that you have no border. You don't need a border. The best way, right, is to have a kind of something like this, and you put your object into that zone, right? So you have something like this, and then you have this way smaller, right? You remove this. This is way smaller, and you put on top. Okay. So if you have problem with this, don't forget something that many of you not using is this. FileMaker has everything for you. You can choose no labels, no label. You can choose the label on top of the fields. You can choose the label on the left of the field, and you can use the label into the field as a placeholder automatically. So this is what that do. When you have a theme that is ready for that, right? And you can just drag this, it comes like this, okay? Comes like this. So it's ready. Right? That's the default, right? But I enhance this and I have another field label, right? I have label 1, small one, label 2, center, label 3, right. So I have a label 1, 2, 3. So what I want label 1, okay? So you glue it like this and that's it. So it's ready. So you have this coming, okay? So that is when you have a theme thought, okay? So of course, look what I solved by doing this. Here, let's say I want the label on the left. Look the mess here. And let's say I want the label on top. Look the mess. It's messy. I have to fix this. 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 It's not playable. You know, I need to go there, do this, this, this. I need to go there, fix this, you know, make this here, you know, fix this one like this. And then, you know, I might have now something correct. So I need to do all of this, you know, in order to get something correct. So what happened when you have the right theme for the right object, right? It's happened this. You drag it, it's ready. You drag it, it's also ready. Right? Why? Because I have no border. We don't know. Do we need border? Look, I have border. I have one single object that do the border. This. I have one square that do the border. That's it. So with the system like this, you know, you just need to duplicate, you know, and you have your stuff, you know, duplicate. So now I'm going to show you something cool. So let's say I have all of those and I want to distribute them, you know, in a right way. I position one, you know, I group those two, I group those two, I group those two, I group those two, and I group those two, and I want to distribute them correctly. So I position the first one and the last one, I select all of them, and then I use the distribution button here, vertical distribution, okay? Boom, it's distributed and it looks great, right? So now, you know, something was missing here is the separation, because we need a separation like this, right? Very simple, very, very simple. What do we need? A line. Why you want to use complicated stuff? So look what we can do here. So let's say I have a line here, okay? So let me show you how it works. I have a line, and I have a line here. I don't know if it's well, you know, aligned or not. I have a line here, you know, and I have a line here. So you see, you position this on, because we have the, see, we have the, what's the name? And if, for example, you know, I'm positioning the first one and I messed up completely those messed up, you know, and I position the last one. I want the last one to be this one, okay? So I position the first, I position the last, I select this one, I select this one, and I'm using vertical distribution. Boom! They position perfectly where I want them to be positioned. Right. So always, you select the first object, the second object, and you distribute. When you have multiple objects, you group them and you distribute the group. Because if you don't do this, it will do a distribution a little bit off, right? So let's see how it looks. Bam. So if we remove this piece of bleep, you know, all those conditional formatting thing here that make a lot of confusion. Now, it looks something simpler, no? Okay. And I have nothing to take care of. I have no border. I have no background. This is my background. Oh, I want to change the color of the background. Okay, no problem. You know, so if you do this on the other side, let's say I want something grayish, you know. So I want something grayish. I want something 98. Okay. I want something grayish or a little bit more, 95. Okay. I want something grayish. Okay, no problem. Boom, it's ready. If I want to do this here with the white colors, with the background, so I need to select all the objects, change the background, whoosh, right? Complicated. A lot of things going on. Here now, changing this, change the background. I want white again, white, boom, right? So now I have another trick for you. You know, you see the label here? Think about what we call reusability of objects. The reusability of objects is this. I use, you know, I have a block of objects here. I size them all the same to be a one block. Why? Because now look, here we have a problem, I you know, I talk about that often. I'm asking yourself, ask yourself here. I want to name this. Oh, I hate those buttons. I want to name this project of these clients. Okay. I want to name this accounts of the day. You know, okay, how I do this. So let's say I want to do this. Let's say I have this object. I build this object in the invoice layout, but I want to reuse that block of objects, copy them, put in another layout. Yes, but the labels is far more larger. So here, you know, projects of that clients that I like a lot, you know, and project of the day because this is my day. Okay, so absolutely no problem. Now, for who is listening to us and wants to have objects like this and with translation, want to translate to another language, this is a good way of distributing things. So now we have, you know, we distributed things vertically like this. We learn that we put everything vertical and we have kind of an alignment like this, right? So we put the term, we put the staff, we put the paper status and stuff like that. And then here we have an object that's called Accordion, okay? So the object Accordion, okay, it's a slide control, okay? It's a slide control, and you have multiple slides, okay? So each slides, right, shows something. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have 4 objects, 4 slides, right? So how it works? So it works like you have shipping. So here you have buttons. On each slide, you have 1 button. So, I mean, you have a button that goes to a slide. So for example, here, this here goes to shipping, right? Go to shipping. And so we have a button here. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So we have a button. So here, how it is organized, okay? But I don't want to explain too much here because I'm going to explain that this object here is an accordion. I'm not because I'm going to explain that in the future when I'm going to explain the object like this. So here we have the possibility to have a tab control without to be horizontal. We have a vertical tab control. It's vertical, okay? It's vertical. Here, in that layout here, we had here horizontal slide control. The problem of the horizontal slide control is obvious. It's the same problem, the space. We limited in space. Let's say I have 4, 5, 6. How am I doing it? I cannot do it, right? So you understand that I have merged those 4 things in one, okay? In one object. So here we have the summary where we have, because we have more space, okay? So we have the summary of this. We have the summary of this invoice, right? And where pretty much that's what we call basic info, but it's not basic anymore because we have more info here. So I merged this, right, with other information coming from staff, right, and from shipping as well, So no shipping. From this summary thing, right? Here we have the terms, the PayPal status, and the status, right? So we merge those things in one block, right? So all of those things now make more sense because we group everything together, and we have more space. Here, I have blank space here because I have more space. Here, everything is so tight. Why? Because, I have too many things. I have 1 tab, 2 tab, 3, 4, 5. Here, I have 3 tabs. In the same time, I wanted to add clarity. So the first thing when you enter a layout like this, you need to tell yourself what is prominent in an invoice. Tell yourself what is important. What is important, it's this information here. This is important. The dates, when it's due, right? When it's paid, so this is really, really important. And of course, the status, right? So the status is important, right? The status is important. So that's why you need to learn how to build what we call widgets. This thing here is called widgets, okay? Also, I'm going to explain that object in the next, how to make good looking layouts, right? But you need to learn to do something like this, okay? You see, everything looks good, okay? And everything is clear. This is more important. So I did the same here. I kind of did the same here. The dates, the due dates, the date paid, and the date to paid, okay? So it's the same, but now it's on top with the status, okay? And the amount due, okay? So this is very, very important. So this is the first block I separated to be always on display, right? Here, it wasn't on display always. This is always on display. Then here, what I've done, I merged what could be merged, the request by, the email, the staff, the terms, the paper status, all of this can be merged in what we call summary. It's a summary of this stuff. But what is important, what is interesting, is what I've done in shipping. Okay, so you have the shipping here. Sorry, not shipping. You have the summary. You have the shipping info, right? You have the shipping info. This, pretty much, right? Shipping info. And what interesting is what I've done in the address. So you see, when you need the address, okay? So you go to the address. So you see, you know what I mean? So I have like a drawer with utensils. And then in the drawer, I have kind of an organizer for the knives, the forks, the spoons, right? I have kind of an organizer inside that drawer. That drawer, right? And here I have a sub-organization, right? And I have this. I have the bill to, the ship to, and the supplier. So that's why it doesn't look crazy. I want that the address blocks. Okay, I have an address drawer for that. Okay, this is my summary, shipping and staff. But staff, for those two, I move staff into the summary, right? And I move those into the summary. Then I have one block because now I'm using all. I couldn't do it. How I can merge this and this? Tell me, with this in the bottom? It was impossible. So that's why, when you organize your things, you need to tell you, okay, what is more important what is more important in an invoice? The dates and the status, and if it's paid or not, right? Then I need to know where it belongs. So okay, so that's a secondary. Then the shipping is kind of important because this is the reason why they pay you, right? And then where to build, ship, and all the things. So we have kind of a hierarchy here, right? And it doesn't look crazy because you don't have a lot of buttons, even though I have the same amount of buttons that the others, right? So something, you remember, I told you we removed those things here. We removed those. Okay, yeah, I did remove it, but they're all there. So now I have a drawer for those things, so I can expose more because I have a drawer for this. It's not exposed. Can you imagine that we have all of those things on display? All of those things on display, everything was on display. So that's why it's so complicated. So what you need to do is to learn how to organize things. But to organize things, we need furnitures to organize things. We need organizers. Okay. That's why in the next upcoming webinar session, I'm going to explain how those objects works, and we're going to explore them, how to build them. But to finish the today topic, okay, that was to pretty much explain how to avoid, exposing too much. You cannot expose everything. If you want to do it, you will ever fail. Always you will fail if you try to display everything at once. You need to pick up your war. You cannot pick up your fight. You cannot fight everywhere. You will fail. Pick up your fight. Okay, that's the same. I made the decision. It's my decision. I wanted my decision. I made the decision to make this to make this prominent. So I made it because it's my decision. So, but I made it in a way that I give clarity. Okay. Same here for the button here. Now we have clarity because, you know, we don't have only a tooltip. Here we had a tooltip. No. I don't have only the tooltip for duplicate. Click here to duplicate. I said, click here to duplicate the current invoice. The tooltip now is on display, right? And I have a delete button here because, you know, I want the delete button to be, I don't want the delete button to be on display, by the way. Now I have 10 minutes left. I want to show you the reason why the columns are the key of success. This is not a column. It's broken. It's broken. And why this? This is where you have the most information. Why it's small? Why it's small? Right? Why I have, you know what I mean? Okay. I made the decision to put this here on the right and to have all the 8 of the screen at my disposal, all of it. So, I mean, all for this and this block here, for this block here, right? I made a choice to use this in a column. So pretty much, what did we do here? You know, what did we do? So what did we do here? So let's delete this. We rearrange those blocks. We remove this. We put that in a block. We delete this. We move this a little bit. We move this in the center. We make it more prominent. We took this block here, you know. We took this block. We took this block and this one, pretty much, right? This is what we did. So now, and this one, so now I have all the space I need for this guy here to put it here. Oops. To put it here, right? Let's close this a little bit. To put it here, and then instead of organizing this way vertically like this, right? It's organized a little bit differently. It's organized like this because now I have more width than height. So pretty much we did something like this. We reorganized this like this, right? And we put it like this and like this and like this, pretty much, right? And like this. And we resize this and we put that on the bottom. So, you know, so pretty much that's what we did here. Pretty much, right? So we use columns. There's definitely one column here. There's one column here, right? One column, another column here, right? With the information. So, and that's what we did. So it's much more clear when you use column, especially when you have an additional column here, which is the master detail, right? So this is the introduction of how to organize complex layout, right? So we will see tomorrow how we interact with those things, right? And how we can enhance this on getting embedded kind of for, like this, right? Because this here, it's the equivalent of this. And if the boss will be there, he will laugh because I'm going to say the word, the A word. The A word is, this is an abomination. So what is an abomination? For who remember the 90s and Windows? Remember the window? Microsoft Windows, they had, I don't know if they still have it, they had the help of the help. I don't know if you remember that. So it's the same thing. I don't know if you remember this type of construction. So 1, 2, 3. Four, right? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. Then this. It's pretty much, it's the same of this. It's the same of doing this. You remember this on Windows? Okay. This. So good luck with this. When you have this and this. Do you remember this? Okay. So here, this is exactly what I have. The same. I have this construction here. If I select this, it's like selecting this. I have the same construction. Do you see it? No. You don't see it. It doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel, it's really, really readable, but it's exactly the same as this. And tomorrow I'm going to explain that, why it doesn't look like this. Okay? So if we don't have any question, we good to land the
we have one quick question. Why make the clear button so prominent? Why not make them lighter or gray until it's moused over? Red looks like there's a problem on the layout. I don't specifically know what he's referring to because you don't really have a lot of red in the new FMSP.
Yeah, no. So I explained many times that we need to avoid the Christmas tree, right? About colors, right? So red has a very, very specific meaning, right? So that's what you're saying about?
Yeah, I think he was asking why you're using red in a specific spot, but I don't know what that specific spot he was referring to.
Yes, the only spot I'm using red is here. Red in the computer, okay, for example, here, this is the control, this is the zoom control, okay? Hold on.
He's apparently referring to the clear button on the summary specifically.
Okay, here, those are the zoom control, the zoom control I have on my screen. What is red?
He said it was the clear button on your summary.
Yeah, so why is red? Why stop share is red? Because you don't want to do it by accident, right? Red is not good. Red is stop. A stop sign is red. It's not blue. A traffic light is you stop or you get a fine, or you kill yourself, or you kill somebody. What's the name? Red is no, bad, don't go, hot, dangerous. So that's why we use red. So yeah, I have red here. You don't. Do you want to remove the server? Are you going to remember everything? No, you want to make sure that, you want to delete this, but especially that, for convenience, I didn't put any warning that you're going to do it, because it's not really dangerous. You just unassign some. But red and red, like the stop share on Zoom. You don't want to click this, or if you do, you need to know what you do. Delete button, the same. Red has a meaning. Green has a meaning. So just to a little recap, you have two types of colors. Two types. You have an impression, and you have what's the name? You have an impression, and you have a function. Two types of colors. The blue, 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 blue. That's what we call an impression. It's an accent. So you cannot have 10 accents. You have one, maybe two. Here I have two accents, to be honest with you, and I have two. I have the blue. Okay, I have the black, which is a standard. I have the blue, first accent, and I have the grayish, second accent. Okay. But the grayish has two meanings. Here, definitely it's an impression. It's an accent. Here, the labels grayish, 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 grayish is an accent. But here, that's a function. The gray means inactive. So a color can be an action or can be a function, let's say. Here is a function. Here's an accent. So, but here, the green with active, the green it's a function. It has a function. The purple has a function. The dark green has a function as a light green. The light green is an active, what's the name? It's an active invoice. And the dark green, it's okay, it's bad. It's green. It's still green, but it's a different green. Okay, because it's a different status. And red is bad. So it's a function. Okay, this is a function, and this is a function. This is this is an impression. It's it's an accent. Right? So I hope I decipher this. And there was a name, the Zoom stuff. That was a good it was a good example. Green. Green, and you say you share your screen and stop sharing, right? So it was a good kind of example. So that being said, ready? Or do we have any other questions?
Nope, I think we're good. So thank you very much, Nick. We always appreciate it. We're excited to have you here for the next 2 days to continue discussing this. And I'm gonna let you go.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!